Okay, this particular video today is about how to start a support forum or a Q&A forum in your personal industry or space that you're in, even if, by the way, there's already one that exists out there. It's actually even better. This system I'm about to give you will work to make, if you're starting with the problem that Google search ads are too expensive to run in your space or just otherwise don't work, then I recommend to our clients that you take this kind of reverse or opposite approach, at least initially, to start a support or Q&A forum to promote that first. And once that gets you get the ball on that going at all, then Google search ads will almost completely always work. And that doesn't matter how expensive the ads are. $10 a click, $20 a click, $30 a click. The math will work out because you now have a clear competitive advantage in your space because you have built up a brand in your space. So anyway, I'm going to go through then on today's video some different steps as to how to actually set up a support forum to make a search campaign on Google work every single time, what's involved in that, the do's and don'ts, and so on and so forth. And so the first thing on our list here is why should you do a PPC campaign in 2 steps? So essentially, I have a short list of reasons why here. One being, the big one is the costs are too high. You're trying to run ads, you just, for what you're selling, you can't make $10 a click work on Google search. A lot of that, by the way, can be solved by just doing more in terms of the refinement of the enticitiveness of your ad, your landing page, but I won't go there. Other videos to talk about that. But if you're dealing with really big players, let's say one would be if you're in the home loan space, there's really big publicly traded companies that could pay more with it and run it at a loss just because of the overall branding they're going to get by being there number one in Google. That doesn't happen, but 2 or 3% of the niches out there, so you probably are not in that. But in order to make the search ads work, or if it just doesn't quite give you the return after doing everything on there, you could do this. The name of the game is when a lot of people don't think about running Google search ads this way. When someone types in something and if a potential customer or client is searching for what you sell on Google and you have your ads there show up on top, the consumer is trying to decide which ad to click on. But a lot of times what they're going to do is they're going to scan the ads and things that look familiar to them, they're going to click on first, which gives brands a much bigger advantage over the companies that have no name recognition in the space. And that actually carries over to people who have been on your site before, which everybody knows that runs advertising, that the search remarketing is what it's called, which is it's advertising Google search ads that are specifically designed for people who have been to your site already for whatever reason. Those ads routinely work, upwards of 2 to 3 times better than people who have not been to your site before. So I've mentioned on other articles that I've written that if you actually can figure out a way to get people to your site and then run your search ads, that actually will make your search ads work, much better. They're basically, like 50% more likely to click on your ad just if they've been to your site before. And then in terms of converting based upon their experience, they can, again, convert and have a 2 to 3 times ROI than, your ad being there and you're a nobody and they've never heard of you and they've never been to your site before, which could mean that, basically you could want to do that first, which is what this article is about, before you advertise to that person at all. If somebody else has a name recognition in your space because they run TV advertisements or whatever, that this could put you on level playing field with them again, because you could create that name recognition for yourself. And this is all about doing it in an inexpensive, clever way, so you don't have to be the one that runs the TV ads, but get the same kind of effect going for yourself, so that you get a higher click-through rate, you get actually more people to just do business with you, but then also at a much cheaper cost, so you're making 2 or 3 times more specifically on the ads that you're running. Typically, what I've seen, if you can make the system work, the ads become 3 times as more profitable if you're in a small niche overall on all traffic, because what happens is what you're going to try to do in a small niche. Let's say you're somebody who sells metal roofing, and that's what you specialize in. Well, you create a forum that goes over people's questions about metal roofing, and you seek to make it the number one in your space, or just a solid one in your space, so that most of the people that have a question about that stuff, naturally they search online. In most markets, people search online before they decide to buy. And what you're going to try to do is, what this is about, and I've mentioned on other articles, is you create articles specifically for people to click on those articles and read it, just because you want your search ads to ultimately be profitable. And it's called, doing prep work there. And a support forum is one way to actually take that and supercharge that whole method, because they may not find a particular article, and you may only want to advertise if they've been on that article before. What this is about is just making all the traffic in your entire space, when they're searching to buy your product or service, that to make it overall more profitable enough that you can afford to running the ads in the first place. Because a forum has a potential to have name recognition in itself and get most of the traffic in a space once it's built up, just from having the individual forum posts or the Q&A posts themselves. The individual questions will get ranked on Google organically, pulling traffic, and then seeds in their mind who they want to go with before they even search for your and find your Google search ad later on in the future, whatever that is. If maybe they won't, but when they do, you have a much, much greater chance of getting that business, to where you can make all the ads, upwards of 3 times more profitable for you than somebody who doesn't have that leading Q&A forum go in their space that they set up. Now I'm going to tell you again how to do that inexpensively, that literally anybody can do this. So anyway, if the costs are too high right now and you can't make the ads work, and then basically with that, if you have nothing else to lose, you tried the ads, you just can't make the ROI high enough to justify it, you could go this direction, and yes, you'll have some upfront costs, but once you've done this, it not only keeps getting more profitable basically on autopilot, but it also allows you to scale up a big fat search campaign, which will make you millions of dollars a year in revenue, because you have a ROI potential that's now 3 times higher. And so if you want to be that top guy or gal in your space, which you'll basically be there probably if you can get search ads to work when you've scaled them up and you have the support for them, go ahead and consider this. Then because your whole brand, all as a part of this, your whole brand, so your brand itself, or what a level of brand that you have right now, becomes a whole lot more valuable when you have that Q&A forum. It puts a light on your business that you just normally wouldn't have had otherwise. If they've had question answered by your organization before, and it made sense to them, again, the likelihood, whether it's an article or the support forum just being the supercharged version of that, I'm way more likely to do business with you. And then you're also going to have a situation where if ads ever stop working, that support forum will drive business all in itself, but you also have a brand at that point in time that you can rely on. And if your ads ever do blow up, you've got the brand, and it's a good insurance policy to have an actual brand versus something that is good at turning a brand new person who's never heard of you to a customer in and itself. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about that a lot. You could do PPC, you can make that work, and the branding may not be profitable right away, but it's way more profitable long term if you actually do make that your decision of how you're going to promote your business. I personally mentioned doing both. You run the ads first, make those work on a brand, or if you can't make that work, if it's too expensive to run your ads, you work on the brand first in a limited way, and then you run your ads after. You never just do one or the other per se. But your brand will become a whole lot more valuable if you create a beacon of the best resource in your space about previous other people's concerns, which if one person has a concern, other people obviously probably have that same concern, and it's now searchable. That the traffic that generates organically eventually, then that you could put your own ads everywhere on that forum, any place that you want. It could be hosted on your own domain, of course, too. You're going to drive all kinds of traffic to your main site as well. So in and itself, it's a great revenue generator for your business, profitable in and itself. I'm going to explain how to get that going. And then in the context of whatever business that drives, when you add in the fact that you can do a scalable search campaign now, the search campaign in itself can be 3 to 5 times more than what the forum itself can generate. I've actually seen this done in the roofing space recently. I've seen it done in like industrial equipment. It was done. It would work in anything that has a higher price tag where people are going to have questions that they're going to have to do. You could see themselves researching a lot before they buy. Your $20 broom, there's no research. Sorry, I can't help you there. But for anything else like that you can imagine, this whole strategy will work. It's just a matter of who's going to be the one person that decides to do it in your space, and you're leaving yourself open if you're not going to be the one that does it, because somebody else could certainly do that. Then they are going to now have an advantage to run their ads. Even if you have ads running now, your ads will then become less profitable, or in general, once obviously there's already a beacon of information, you have that network effect that it'll be that much harder to get, at least for the, overall, to get somebody to go to your forum, even though there's a good way around that. As I mentioned, it can actually be better, at least having the information that I have, and I'm going to explain to you if there is another forum to get your forum going. But in general, you know what I mean. If there's no forum and then suddenly now it's a lot more helpful to be the first one that does it versus the second and third, so on and so forth, if you will. So anyway, there's 2 ways of actually doing this in terms of setting up a forum and then using that as a prerequisite to get the user when they then search for what you buy or sell in a commercial sense later on, that they buy from you. So it's much, much more profitable, or just unprofitable, and get those ads to work for you in the first place. You can set up a branded support forum, and you can answer the customers or clients' questions that you normally haven't come in now. And you, of course, can ask their permission to share the answer with other prospects. So not everybody will do it. You can decide how to do that, or you just direct them to the forum. One way that I thought was really clever and seen it done is once you answer the question, you got the permission to post it there. Then other people that have the same question, you just redirect them to the forum in that same spot. So if they have a follow-up question, you could just answer it there for them. That's how you can start to build it up. If you sell like a piece of equipment, anybody who has a question about that piece of equipment then could go directly to that forum. But if they do deal with your customer service department, you can redirect people that way. And more that you redirect, the more and more they'll just go straight there. You could also do it as a Q&A forum that you start, or a forum or a question and answer style website, if you will. So, basically, if people don't come to you with questions a lot, let's say it's a skincare product, you can create one, and basically you'll just go in there, and you could call it unethical, call it whatever you want, but if you just make fake user accounts and start asking typical questions that people ask by doing keyword research and so on and so forth, and then just answering what the answer would be. I mean, I don't know how it's just helping people, because if they have that question, you can answer it. You have to say, you do it. There's ways to do it that's not unethical. Let's just put it that way, to where you can start to see the forum that way. And then, from there, when you do have a customer question, you can redirect people there and say, here's the answer to that question. If maybe it'll help you out, and then they'll ask a question. It's a way to get it going. Or you answer 100 questions, and then basically you try to get those pages that have the questions indexed, and then the organic traffic can start things up. But those are your 2 ways to do it. It could just be your literal way that you deal with customer service that you have in the business right now for products and services that you have. That one works better for products. Or it could be an artificial one that you start, that you have customer service or just somebody in your company write 100 questions and answers, and then use that as a basis to get started. Anyway, from there, you still need traffic. That's only going to take you so far. 100 questions are going to take, you got to get traffic into there to the support forum to really make use of this whole strategy and get your search campaigns to work. off of it and to really make the big bucks off of this. So how to kickstart the traffic to the Q&A site or the forum. So there's others. Here's the magic behind this whole thing, why I made this video. There's other forum banner ads. So you'll notice any of the banners on most other websites with information on it, if you see the banners there, that's Google AdSense. Google AdSense is, you can advertise any place there's Google AdSense through Google Ads, through the display network that they have. A lot of people just think Google Ads is search ads on Google. No. It's also the whole entire Google display network. And you can actually specify, you would advertise on just one single site in the placements menu. A lot of people also don't know that. So you make a list of all the forums that are out there if you have them already. And you just have and from there, because the ad's going to tell the person, say, hey, here we have a new forum here, it's great. And the traffic is, the prospect's so targeted, you're going to get a very high click-through rate on that ad, which high click-through rates directly translate into low cost per clicks. And so with that, you get such a high click-through rate on an ad like that, you're going to pay 10 cents a click from somebody who already likes the forums and is using it to now go to your site, which probably are a regular user of that site, which will get a lot of traffic from a 10-cent click. You could also, people, again, this also assumes that you already have, there's a forum or a Q&A specialized site on the web for your niche already. When people Google search for that support forum by name, you can have on Google your search ad show up there. I like that one a lot less than the banner ad, of course, as it's a little bit more expensive, but realistically, if your ad is done right, you can still pay, 20, 30 cents, sometimes still 10 cents for a user who is then going to go to the blog, the forum, but then now is redirected to your site. That may or may not work for you. And certainly probably not as good as the banner ads on the forums themselves, but you can tell Google you're willing to pay 10 cents. You have to see how much traffic you can get from that. There'll be a point where you know that you're not willing to pay more based upon, because you can actually measure how many people get to the forum and then from there go on to purchase either directly from the forum or later on go to your site through it's cross-domain tracking that you can set up through Google Analytics. You can set up tracking as part of a funnel and say, Google Analytics, please, if anybody goes to the site, I want to know if they convert on my main site into a lead later on. And they will actually do that for you. Cross-domain tracking is what that's called. And anyway, from there, you're going to find out how many people who go to the forum as a whole and end up buying something from you, know what the value of that traffic is, and then decide how much you're willing to pay for these to divert people from search that way and these banner ads that way. Of course, 10 cents a click, you're pretty much not going to go wrong, mainly because long-term, or even if you pay a little bit more, because long-term that forum is going to take on a life of its own. And then you're going to recoup back everything you invested into it initially later on anyway. But apart from that, if you don't have any forums or Q&A sites on the web, there's probably questions on Quora, Quora.com or Reddit. And within that, the nice thing is on both of these sites, they have their own PPC programs. So you can actually advertise for as little as a penny a click on any Quora question that you have there on the site. So if you have a skincare site that you have a product for eczema, you could actually say, if you have questions about eczema, visit our eczema support forum or whatever. Same thing on Reddit. Reddit, it's may not get a penny per click, but you can still get it right around 10 cents a click there as well. It's based upon CPM. And so higher again, but in reality, it doesn't matter if you get charged per click or CPM, which is cost per 1,000 times your ad shows up. You're paying per click because if the ad does not get a high click-through rate, well, they'll just end up charging you more per click. That's why click-through rate really matters in terms of paying a low price per click. It all works out the same way at the end of the day. An ad that doesn't get a high click-through rate, well, they're just going to have someone else show their ad, or they're going to charge you more because somebody else that has a better ad, they'd rather show that ad. So it all fundamentally works out. Hope I explained it kind of sort of well there. But you run on your ads on Quora and Reddit to now push your new forum. If you have a forum that you set up and you answered 100 questions, then it looks real enough to where somebody can ask their question there, you answer it, and then you answer the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So anyway, with that, how long do you have to push this before people start answering your questions for you? And fundamentally, you don't have to pay for traffic to come into the site anymore, both. From what I've seen where this has been done before, where I've directed somebody to physically do this, which is, I was amazed by this whole process, which is why I'm making a video about this for you here today. The organic traffic, to get organic traffic to that forum that you set up artificially, whether it's a branded support forum or a let's say an unbranded, just a general site that you set up to serve as a forum for the market or Q&A site for the market, the organic will then really start going to the site once you've paid for between 10 and 100,000 clicks to the site. Caveat when, it's highly targeted traffic from people already looking to get their questions answered on other websites. But I already explained how you do that, and so it might take you a little longer to get that 100,000 clicks, if you will. But once you've done that, a lot of people don't recognize in terms of organic. Google, they have the rank brain algorithm now. It's not so much about backlinks anymore. They're trying to determine, can your site serve the user's need? And if so, they're trying to just direct people there by measuring all the people that come to your site versus other sites, and how many people stay versus not stay, and so on and so forth. So if people that you're getting that are already qualified, good quality traffic, from when they ask a question about how to choose an eczema product for their skin, to a site that's just dedicated for that, Google sees they stay there. Google sees that you shared that site. Google sees whatever their positive metrics as to that site being a value piece of content on the web. They're going to start to rank it organically, and even if it takes 100K, you're on the high end of the range there before you really start getting a lot of organic traffic. That's still only $10,000 worth of investment into a support forum, which from there, you don't even need any more paid ads. It generates its own traffic more and more all the time, as long as the questions are answered and it's moderated well, and so on and so forth. And then you get direct traffic from the site directly, which of course it depends on what you're selling and how much it is, but I've seen these support forums get 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 clicks a month, just on and on regularly. And then from that, you might be able to get 5, 10, 20 customers a month for free just from that, which pays, more than the cost of what to moderate it. And then it was a $10,000 hard cost to get it up and going. That's a really good deal. So, kind of with that sets you, and then to tie it all together, what this particular video is mainly about is once you get the organic traffic fed in, and this thing takes on a life of its own as forum, you can run the search ads, which are now 3 times as more profitable than the ones that were before. So if you sell that industrial equipment, maybe you get a few bonus customers from the people who were on the forum and then went to the site without any encouragement. You can then run the search ads when that person is, for the people that are in the market for that piece of equipment in the future, and they see 4 ads there, they're way, way, way more likely to buy from you. 3 times more likely to buy from you just from the name recognition alone. And you've set yourself up so the real money comes in later once these search ads are able to work and you're able to spend the market rates or even more and still make way more than the competition, because Google charges as much as they can for the ads to where people really heavily starts dropping out. And if you have a way to make 3 times more from the typical click that they charge X for, well, you automatically win. You're going to be able to afford to stay up there all the time. And, again, in most spaces, even if you're in a small space, you just sell a small piece of equipment that you don't think is that important, you'd be surprised. You could have a small machine, industrial piece of equipment, like a bagging piece of equipment. You could generate millions of dollars a year in revenue just by through Google search ads itself. On top of that, you can actually advertise to people that went to the forum, banner ads that explain that you're running a special this month only. We're giving our clients 5% off our machines. We're offering, free support for 3 years, whatever, and that will generate even more customers. So there's also that avenue as well. And then finally, of course, you're going to make more money, and then you're generating a strong brand for yourself that's going to be able to work for you, even if your ads got shut off, and stabilize the revenue coming in your business. You're also going to have a mechanism that site, it'll keep getting more and more organic traffic. Therefore, your search campaigns will get more and more profitable all the time. And so you're in a position where if you don't end up a rich man or woman at the end of this process, assuming you successfully get to where you are the number one forum in the business, you're not going to make money no matter what, because that's so powerful. And it doesn't take, like I said, that much work. It's just a matter of buying targeted traffic for the exact people that want to see the answers to the questions that are posted there, and then you're good. You've got something that will take a life on its own because it's genuinely serving a need in that market. If you have 2 or 3 other forums that aren't serving the need in that market, again, those people, first of all, if there's more than one, it's for a reason, because there's lots of people who like information in that space. And so you should, for that, you can always try to do better information than the other sites, but in that general sense, if 3 markets are supported, or 3 forums are supported, it's not that big of a jump to have 4 forums supported. And I actually, at the end of the day, would rather have 3 starting out instead of 0 or 1. For me, because I'm a PPC expert, I could drive a lot more traffic faster from the banner ads I run on those sites to get mine going as well. So, and then again, with that, it doesn't have to necessarily be better. It just has to be as good a quality as the other ones. People they don't usually go to all 3 forums, but they're on that one. They're like, I wonder what this other site has. They start reading, they get sucked into the process, and then you have a new registered user that starts using that forum potentially, and they forget about the other one, depending on that person's quirks and all that. If you can actually make the forum better, the best way to do that would actually be a better user interface, make it prettier. You being an expert, or assign an expert to that forum to actually answer the questions in real time, would be one way to beat people. You can just Google how to actually start a forum that is popular and works, but you can start from 0 just by, like I said, answering a bunch of your own self-generated questions there. Make it look like it is a real site, push traffic to it, and then within a few months to a year, let's say, you can have that forum up and going, and you've got now a process to build up to $5-10 million a year business just through the Google search ads and the remarketing ads you'll be able to run for people who've been on that forum, and of course the direct traffic from that forum, mainly, which is all fed with organic traffic once you get it up and going with the paid traffic. So anyway, that kind of explains to you how to do this. I've seen it many times done, enough to where I could tell you firsthand not only how profitable it is, but basically anybody could do this for the most part. If people are researching it online at all about the things that you sell, you can become a magnet or beacon for that information and profit handsomely from it later on. I have a lot of other videos like this on this YouTube channel. I try to put out a money-making PPC strategy or guide every day, so I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I also encourage you to leave a comment if you have some questions about doing this before you do it, or if you tried, want some advice. Again, you can leave a comment. I'll try to help you the best I can. I have a great money-making PPC strategy guide on our site, guaranteedppc.com/blog, where I go through on step-by-step how to do PPC campaigns from scratch. If you want a little bit more information on how to build your own PPC campaign yourself, you can certainly do that. But I really hope that you do try this out and falling short on your search campaign or running search ads in your market. This will work.